don't normally do this. It's a little weird. It's a little weird not to be like preparing to play a game. They did a Nintendo Direct, and I don't. Everybody does. I'm gonna sit down and watch the thing live and react to it and post that. I never thought I'd be the person to do that, and then I watched this Direct, and I don't know. I had so many thoughts on it that I just feel like I need to ramble and get it out of my system. And so that's what this is. This is just me rambling about this for who knows how long. It's gonna be off the top of my head. I haven't like written anything down. This is just off the cuff because that's just the way I do it. But yeah, because this was a weird. Well, first off, let's talk about the fact that they announced this like yesterday. As of recording this, which is the day of the 22nd, they announced this 12 hours before showing it. And it was not like some indie direct or anything, or a small direct. It was a substantial direct. They had freaking remakes and ports and brand new games and like a promising new IP or two. I just don't understand how they do this. I'm not gonna talk about every single thing in there because I'm not interested in every single thing in there. For instance, I don't need to talk about the 17th farming sim game that is getting released on the Switch. Hey, farming sim people, you're eating well. You're always eating well, all right? And more power to you, okay? This one's for me. this direct was for me. You can have the next 5 directs can all be about farming sims. I don't actually want that. I'm sorry. I love you all. You don't deserve that much. You don't deserve that much, okay? you have plenty. Yeah, this one was crazy. This one was crazy too because of how much build up, how much speculation there was right before it coming out, which is weird to me because, well, one, it was on such short notice, so what is there to be speculating on? But it was the usual thing. It was a lot of the usual things. For instance, Godspeed to all of you who every time a direct is announced say Twilight Princess, Wind Waker HD, double pack, it's coming. It's coming. We all know it. We all know it's right around the corner. And then it's just never, ever that. Time and time again. It's brutal. It is brutal. Here's the thing. After Nintendo said, like straight up, after Aonuma said straight up that they are not interested in making anything other than like they want to continue to make Zelda games in the vein of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know when the next time they're going to even acknowledge the existence of any Zelda game that came out before it. I don't know when that's going to be. The last other Zelda game they've mentioned, outside of stuff that they put on like the virtual consoles, right, was the Skyward Sword HD remaster. And that was a crazy thing for them to even do because Skyward Sword is not a popular game. It was not one of their more popular games. It's like probably the least popular 3D Zelda game. I feel like, at least that's what it feels like the reception of that game was. Yeah. I don't know, it is it is kind of crazy, but I mean that's kind of what happens with Nintendo. When something's working for them, they really latch onto it, they sink their claws into it, and they just roll with it like deep into the future. But on that note, that's actually a good note to hop off and start breaking this down a little bit. On that note of them acknowledging the existence of other games and other IPs and other things that they've made, yeah, let's go a little bit. Okay, so first 5 minutes, right? So my friends are actually like typing in Skype chat, pointing things out. What's crazy to me though is that they didn't. they kind of buried the lead on a lot of stuff. They mentioned probably one of the biggest things in the whole thing. And yet they still somehow, it feels like they still buried the lead with like so much other stuff being packed in here. Okay, so this freaking Pokemon. There's this. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been excited for Pokemon anything ever. The only thing they could do to make me excited about a Pokemon game was if they did like a remaster, a port, or a brand new installment of Pokemon Coliseum. Like do another Pokemon Coliseum game. I love the vibe. I love the world in that game. I love just, at least I remember loving it when I was really, really young. Heck, that's probably one of the few games outside of Animal Crossing that my mother actually ever played alongside with me. Because, you know, it's turn-based, so it's easier to, you know, you just take your turns picking what you want to do. Neither of us understood anything about anything. So, you know, I would probably do a lot better now. Might play that in the future, who knows. Yeah, that would probably be the only thing that would get me excited about a Pokemon game. They would have to do a whole heck of a lot. I have Arceus. I played it like when I originally got it. I played it quite a bit. I didn't get super far though, but like I sat down and played it for like a good 5 hours or so, and I was like, yeah, this is interesting. This is cool. And then they announced Scarlet and Violet, and I was like, okay, so they're doing Arceus kind of, but in, you know, in a traditional Pokemon game. It wasn't. I just don't. It's a thing. I think my problem is seeing a game that's so clearly unfinished that like, and knowing that like, yeah, my enjoyment may not be ruined because of that, but just seeing something that has so much potential and is just, but they just keep with the development cycle that the Pokemon Company has going on stuff right now. They just refuse to let anything breathe. They refuse to let any of their projects breathe long enough to actually be able to be something, you know? I know diehard Pokemon fans, like, it has a strong fan base who will buy their games over and over again regardless of how glaring the dips in quality are. And I mean, no matter how much of a fan you are, you gotta admit that Scarlet and Violet are obviously unfinished game. Like that is an obviously unfinished package right there, right? Now don't get me wrong. A lot of games are unfinished, right? It's very rare that a game is truly ever finished. There are always shortcuts made. There are always sacrifices made. And most of the time, a game, most of the time, developers just have to, at some point, be like, we have to just be done and send it out. You know? That's commonplace. Absolutely. That's not crazy to say. Should it be that way? No, not to say. Well, no, I mean, if it's about time crunching and stuff like that, no, it shouldn't be that way at all. However, a lot of art is about just like accepting when something is good enough, you know? If you're an artist, I feel like any artist understands that feeling of, I have to be done with this because this has to be just good enough to put it out in the world. That being said, I mean, like Scarlet and Violet, games like Scarlet and Violet are like not that though. It's not that experience. Games like Scarlet and Violet are like very obviously unfinished games. The Scarlet and Violet, I saw somebody broke down in a thread that Scarlet and Violet is perpetually rendering a skybox that is a full orb around the island you're on. That is like the size in comparison to like how big the continent you're on is in the game. The skybox is like the size in the ocean. They're both like the size of like our universe in comparison to how big the continent is, and the game is rendering that completely at all times. There's no culling. Culling being like the game removing or not rendering objects in order to help optimize the game and make it run smoother. Meanwhile, what did they choose to do to help optimize the game instead of removing this massive, pointlessly large skybox and ocean that's perpetually being rendered in the game? Again, size of like the solar system. Oh, you know, they just make sure that nothing spawns next to your character unless it's like 3 feet away from you. Like the draw distance is crazy. The texture work is great. Look at this. Look at this. Gosh, this is a sequence that they made, that they took out for this for this trailer. Look how blurry and fuzzy everything is. Oh. I mean, at the very least, they always seem to devote the time into the thing that truly, at the end of the day, I suppose matters, which is the Pokemon. I mean, gosh, though. Oh, look at the texture. That texture, hey, this texture actually looks pretty good on the wood mask, but again, it's a Pokemon. Everything, I look at... Wait, did that just clip in the background? I mean, did that just... Oh no, it's just sort of... Oh man, yeah, it's just... I feel bad for Pokemon fans because they're so dedicated to these games and love them so much, and I can see why people love these games so much. I can see why people love Scarlet and Violet. I would probably sit down and play Scarlet and Violet and have a good time with some things. I think that there's a lot of problems with Pokemon games. It's just sort of... that just sort of like make them hard for me to really get into. I have never really gotten into one. My problem with seeing this game and why this doesn't necessarily excite me, right, is because they've created DLC for you to buy that will probably be like a decent chunk of money. They've created DLC for a game that is basically unfinished. They've made DLC for an unfinished game, which is what Cyberpunk is also doing right now. That freaking whatever city, that whatever the DLC for Cyberpunk, in fact, is supposed to add a bunch of quality of life things and changes to the base game to make it more like what the original vision was supposed to be. Oh, but they're packaging it in a new DLC. This isn't even going to do that. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. It doesn't look much like anything's really changed here. Oh, that guy looks real cool. I also don't like the new character designs. I don't really like the old character designs for the people, like the actual people in Pokemon games. I mean, the main trainers were usually had pretty cool designs, but they don't even do that anymore because they let you customize them. So they made them like as bland bases as possible. They don't even give you that much customization though either. So like they sacrificed having like good designs for the characters to begin with in order to give you the ability to barely customize them at all. What is that? What? Even the sky doesn't look that good. What the crud? This is just a blue sky. How do they make a plain blue sky look bad? I'm kind of being mean now. I'm kind of harsh in the mellow right now. This is the problem. Okay, so yeah, I'm starting. You know, you start the Nintendo Direct, and that's what they hit you with. They hit you with DLC for an unfinished game, for a game that could have used a major like pre-launch update to help fix a lot of things. I don't think they ever did that. I think that maybe they did some small things to it. But yeah, no, I just don't. Just not good. It's just not good, and that's what they hit you with. That's what they did. And then they followed that up with a game that already got announced in another thing, but it's Sonic, and this looks cool. This looks neat. I'd play this. Multiplayer, I'd play with my friends. I have a friend. She really likes this stuff. She really likes Sonic. Cool. We play this together. Probably fun. I didn't see this before. They didn't show this part before. The freaking weird 3D mode. Yeah, no, it looks cool. They showed like 10 minutes of extended gameplay of some levels. I'm thinking maybe they didn't show some very good levels in the game. It looked very inactive, which is a big problem with all Sonic games, is that a lot of them kind of feel like on-rails, like runners, where you're just like kind of watching stuff happen a lot of the time. And then occasionally you do some like light platforming. But when you get to the platforming, it's really, really slow because it has to be in order for you to do it. Unless you like properly design your game around it. I've talked about this before, but I need water. Already I'm already freaking mouth's getting dry. Yeah, and then farming sim, hooray, good for you guys. The 10th Persona 5 game. I like the Persona games. I haven't played any of them myself, but like I've watched people play these, and I know things about them, and they're cool. I think they're really awesome. The style is great. I cannot believe how much they're milking Persona 5. And what's shocking me more is that there's probably Persona 6 is probably on the way, and they're making a remaster for Persona 3, which is the thing that like was my doorway into it. I watched a full playthrough of 4. But what sort of was my doorway into it was seeing the animated intro to 3 with Burn My Dread, and seeing like the main character's persona, which is like the coolest one. The one from 4 is cool, but the one from 3 is sick as heck. Freaking wings made out of coffins, holy crud. Yeah, they're doing that, and then this is nifty. This is a cool idea. I like how the characters look. It's one of those things where when you see a new game get announced and they said it's on Switch, and then they start showing gameplay and stuff, but you start seeing what the gameplay is going to be. My thought is always, how's that gonna run on Switch? That's gonna run on Switch? Are you sure? Okay. If you say so, I'll trust you. And then they did freaking Splatoon, and I got Splatoon 3, and I played it quite a bit when it originally launched, and then I just, then I realized, finally, getting to actually sit down and play a Splatoon game, it's okay. It's alright. It's fun enough. I'm not great at it. I don't really feel like I was getting much better. And it feels like when you're behind in something, it feels really hard to catch back up. But regardless, I had a fine time. I just didn't really couldn't really get like really into it. I think that like tower defense, well, it's not really tower defense, but that like horde shooter mode, the PvE mode, the salmon run, that was pretty cool. I think I probably enjoyed that a little bit more than the multiplayer stuff. Oh, and then the tricolor battles was just felt impossible, and I couldn't even pinpoint why they felt impossible. I had assumed that the team who was sandwiched between the two other teams would be at a disadvantage, but they I guess maybe it's just because I feel like they're placed on the part of the map where they have like all of the advantage. Even though they're supposed to be working at a deficit, it's supposed to be difficult for them. I don't feel like I rarely ever saw that team lose. And then every single time there was a Splatfest, every time I entered one, my team was like third place every time. It was brutal. And then we got Detective Pikachu, and everything looks kind of weird, and Pikachu talks. He talks about his coffee. He talks about it like 3 times. Weird. Very weird. I don't know. Okay, but see, and here's the thing, right? So like, if I didn't know ahead of time from watching my friends talk that that this right here was going to happen at some point, like this would have made me put me in a real like doom and gloom mindset of just, oh yep, we're back at it again. Another Nintendo Direct. Woo. But okay, so what's crazy about this, right? I can't believe I've already got a big dumb smile on my face. I love this game. I played this game a long time ago. It's still sitting on my Wii. I got it on Virtual Console. Oh my gosh, OG Virtual Console. There's a lot of things to kind of touch on right here, right? OG Virtual Console knocks the Switch's Virtual Console out of the park. You could just, and I don't understand why Nintendo does this. They want you to have a paid subscription service for a infinitely less extensive collection of old games, when what they could do, or what they could have tried to do, was have the same Virtual Console that the Wii had, and then made each game individually priced for, like, you know, not super expensive. It's like cheap, like $5, like it was on the like $5 to $10 for like it was on the Wii, and then have people just buy as much of whatever they wanted as they could. It just had like the normal shop. I mean, they have a shop. They have an eShop where you can buy like other like digital only games, right? Or like indie games or AAA games, like all brand new games that come out that do have physical copies. You can buy those digitally too. Why is there a Virtual Console on there? Was it some rights issues that popped up in between the Wii and the Switch? I don't get it. I feel like they'd be making way more money, because imagine how much more money people would be putting in regularly, so that they could own the games, instead of having a subscription service that has a lot of admittedly kind of niche boosters and console stuff on them. Because, like, yeah, the virtual consoles that they have a lot of cool stuff, but to get all of them, and to get the ones, like, to both get, like, the really interesting ones, like Sega Genesis, and to get the Game Boy Advance, which is, like, the holy grail of games you want to see on your Switch, probably, right? Because they're freaking great, and they used to be handheld, and now here's a new handheld, you can get them again. You have to buy a more expensive version, right? And then that more expensive version gives you DLC from Mario Kart, hence confirming that they are not making another Mario Kart anytime soon, and I'm okay with that. But that's only good if you really like Mario Kart and you still want to be playing that Mario Kart game now, like me. But I'm a freak, I'm a weirdo, okay? I'm a ghoul man. I eat dirt. So don't pay attention to the things I do in my day-to-day, all right? I'm not to be trusted. So if you're a ghoul person who still wants to play Mario Kart 8, then that's good for you. If you're still playing Animal Crossing or liked Animal Crossing when it came out, if that was your jam, then you get something that's part of the Nintendo Online service too. And then you have the Virtual Console games. And the Virtual Console games have a lot of cool things on them, but they also don't have a lot of cool things on them. They have a lot of weird things that they add on, a lot of weird random niche things I've never heard of, things that people like, things that make you stop and say, who wanted that? Who was sitting there looking at the backlog of games that Nintendo has ever released on a console and said, yeah, I want I can't even think of some of the ones that are on there to make a joke, but like, here's the thing: they do have some like Japanese exclusive ones. They didn't translate them, but that's fine. I wouldn't expect them to go that far, but it's cool that they're there. And I mean, some cool Japanese puzzle games, stuff like that. Puyo is on there. There was one that's like the title itself was like in Japanese. I don't know what it is. It was kind of cool though. It had a bunch of like fairy people on it, and then you do like multiplayer versus, and you both get to pick a character, and you both like fairy people, and then it's a puzzle game. It's like a falling block puzzle game like anything else, but it was cool. It was fun. I actually sunk a couple hours into that. Me and my friend, we were just like talking and playing that, and it was it was a pretty chill time. They got a lot of interesting things on there. They got a lot of random stuff. They got a lot of rare stuff on there. Cool, neat. A lot of Japanese exclusive stuff. But if you think about everything that's on each of the consoles that the Virtual Console has, there's so much more that they are not only have not touched, will probably never touch. First off, as a diehard Mother fan, everybody, we have to just accept that Mother 3 is never going to be seen in the US officially translated. Okay, we will be forever playing the fans translation till the end of time. It's not gonna happen. Mother anything is never going to happen. I'm going to say this right now because I want to be proven wrong so bad. I want to be proven wrong so that this can get thrown back into my face, and I will accept it gladly. I will accept it gladly, and then I will ascend to heaven because there will be nothing left for me on this planet. But that's not going to happen. Okay, it's just not going to. And this is me being like, trying to be like a bummer about it, like hushing anybody's mellow. It's just like, it does not seem like a possibility. Them making another Mother game is like for sure not going to happen. Them going out of their way to go through any sort of legal effort to get Mother 3 on the Switch, that's just, I don't believe they would do that. And then also on top of that, they would have to translate it themselves. Which means it would not be a simple port, right? Because here's the thing: it's an RPG. The dialogue, the words, the dialogue, it's a little bit more important than a puzzle game, right? They would have to make an active effort to make a translated port of that game. They are not going to do that. They're already completely disinterested in the idea. It's not going to happen. Sad. I'm sad. That bums me out, but it's just true. Anyways, I bring up the Virtual Console to bring up something, which is that it's severely lacking in a lot of amazing games, a lot of gems. The Game Boy Advance only has like, right now it only has like, what, 6 games on it? 6 or 7? And like 3 of them are like golden gems, and then the other ones are like, oh, you put that on there too. Interesting. Nintendo is notoriously bad at games preservation. I mentioned this before, but they are notoriously bad at games preservation. Nintendo also doesn't really do remakes and remasters. They don't really do that. They do ports. They do ports with slight upgrades and slight changes. Like Wind Waker. Like, the further you look back, the fewer remakes and remasters there are. Wind Waker is a crazy remaster. That was Nintendo in rare form. Twilight Princess is more of a port than a remaster. It's an HD upres, which is great, but it's not really a full remaster, like what you think of when you think of a remastered version of a game. They don't really go out of their way to do these things, but they've been doing them a lot more. They've been sitting on these amazing gems that people love, like Metroid Prime and Super Mario RPG, I guess. Link's Awakening, right? And they've just been sitting there with those things in their back pocket, like, we're just gonna boom hit you with this instead, right? Games that people are like, hey, could we like have this on something again? Could we have access to this game? Could we have access to Super Mario RPG? Is this on, I genuinely don't know. Is this on the Virtual Console? Let me check. I got my Switch right here. I would imagine it's not. I would imagine it's not because that's why they're doing this, right? I could totally be wrong. I am a fool. Even the SNES has so many good games, and yet I feel like it's still missing something. I feel like there's still a bunch of games that it doesn't have, like weird ones, like ones to fill in the gaps, right? Like sequels and things like that. No, Super Mario RPG is not on here because according to them, it's illegal. It's probably a legal nightmare, right? Because Super Mario RPG, while having Mario characters, was a FromSoft game when Square Enix was still FromSoft? No, Squaresoft. So, yeah, FromSoft. Oh my gosh, it's FromSoft. I want to see FromSoft do like a Blue Point style remaster of Super Mario RPG. Oh, need more water. So this is this was like the impossible game, and last night I was on Twitter, and I see things trending. Of course, Zelda, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker's trending, and something else was trending too. But just things that I was seeing and was like, no. And then this was trending too. People said Super Mario RPG was trending, and everybody's like, it's gonna happen, it's totally gonna happen. And I'm like, you're all smoking crack. This would never happen. There has been no signs of that this was gonna happen from what I know. Maybe I'm wrong. There would be no reason for this to happen. There's just no way, because why? Because why would it, right? And then you see this little light that doesn't look like everything else fly across the screen. And holy crud, what did they do to her neck? Where is it? It's down there somewhere. Look how stubby she looks. Oh, she's so head empty. I can't believe it. I'm losing my mind. How does she look at the very beginning? It's interesting. What's interesting to me is that I feel like they made Mario, they made Mario look a little bit more in line with like exactly like one for one how he does in the original game. But Peach and Bowser look a little bit more like they modernized them. They made them look a little bit more like modern Peach and Bowser, from what I remember of the old game. I played it through once a long time ago, but man, I love this game. I remember it vividly. Look at this freaking, look at him go. Look. Look at him stand still. Where did his neck go? I mean, no, I guess Mario never had a neck. Never really has a neck usually. But I feel like they just like somebody put their hand on top of his head and it just pushed down. It looks like he got put in one of those like 1,000 ton compressor videos where they like smash down objects. Oh my gosh. I'm losing my mind. And then it didn't hit me. You know what this looks like? You know what this actually looks like? This looks, oh my gosh, look how wide that Goomba is. Why the Goomba so wide? It's weird. They really tried to make everything proportionally the same. It's kind of crazy. I can't wait to see all the old enemies and the old boss designs too, but in like this new style. Gosh. Oh, look at Malo. Oh, look at my boy, my son, my husband, my brother. All of the above. I can't get over how stumpy Peach is. I just can't. I mean, she's just so small. Well, it's weird. It's weird because she's actually quite large compared to like everything else around her. But but visually she comes across as quite small, like proportionally speaking. And then we got like, okay, so everything seems generally the same. They like gave it some like new UI. I don't know what this is. We got chains. We got the like this crazy shield effect. And then, oh, what the crud was that? Look at freaking. Okay, hold on. Regular boost, action game, magic attack, attack speed. Regular boost 3 chain. Okay, so they're for sure adding new mechanics, unless these are like hidden mechanics that I don't remember from the original one. But it seems like they're adding new mechanics, which is great. That's great. I mean, cool, because that means that like this isn't going to just be a one-for-one like remake of the original. It's going to add new things, which I prefer, generally speaking. I mean, I don't want them to change games to a point where they're unrecognizable. But yeah, I enjoy having like, you know, you want to be playing through the original experience with like but you want it to still have like a breath of fresh air to it, you know. You still want to like be surprised about some things when you play it. She's still got the pan, murdering people with the frying pan. Look at this guy. He doesn't have an arm, which is fine. Look at this lady. Freaking just straight up Birdo. She got the ring. And then, oh, they kept the guys weird. They kept these weirdos in. They didn't change it. I mean, obviously they were going to be there, right? But they didn't change them at all. Look at this perspective. I remember this fight. Because it shocked me. I was like, oh, we're in this fight. And then, boom, here's an amazing sunset view. Dang. Yeah, this is great. It looks like the 3D... A lot of the characters and stuff like that, a lot of this, the way this looks, it looks like the 3D renders of the game that were on the box art and stuff. Like that's what it looks like they were almost trying to do here. It's kind of amazing. This freaking lady, this freaking guy. Look how many good boys. Look how many good boys are in here. Not him. Screw that guy. Oh my gosh, Exor. Oh my gosh, if the fight with Exor, please tell me you can still one-shot him with Geno Whirl. You gotta be able to. Oh, also, I mean, not to mention, something that I feel like people aren't pointing out enough. These are like full-on cutscenes. These are full-on brand new directed cutscenes, right? Like, this stuff, this is... I don't know if... this feels like it goes without saying. These kinds of sequences did not play out in the original game. Now, I don't know if this is just for the trailer, just for like a cool trailer, but I don't feel like it. Look at unbelievably hard. This goes unbelievably hard. Like, I can't believe it. I tweeted that out, and a guy put it right. He's like, man, you actually get to see what he looks like now. It was a little hard to make out in the original game, and it's like, yeah, you're freaking right. That's gonna be an amazing thing, because obviously everything in Super Mario RPG was like, it was rendered, but then they compressed it, like the images and stuff like that, like the Donkey Kong Country look. You render it and then you compress it down into pixel art, basically into like a pixelated art that can be, you know, put on an SNES and ran on an SNES. And by doing that, a lot of things lose a lot of detail, and so your mind fills in the gaps of like, oh, how does this stuff actually look? Well, no, boom, this is how it freaking looks. Because this is what you see in your head. This is what I've always thought of Geno looking like. Oh, look at the plushy boy. I can't get over Mario. Look at this. They just kept... It's like they kept everything in here. I remember this is Mario's explaining what's going on. And while he's explaining, he actually turns into things. Like a freak. I don't even remember writing it. They kept Boomer in there. And then yeah, like look at it, like this stuff was like impossible to make out. I saw the original image of what this looked like. This stuff was impossible to make out. Oh, there's Tiny Mario up there. And then the iconic. I mean, it's just so good. It's just so good. However, you do have to point out the elephant in the room, what I was talking about before. Nintendo's very bad at games preservation. They're sitting on a huge backlog of stuff, refusing to give anybody access to any of it through legitimate legal means, even though people would gladly do so. And then they crack down so hard on people doing emulation stuff and like doing mod stuff and doing things like that, when in actuality it's like, hey, if you gave most people the ability to play these games that they want to play so bad, if you gave, and you don't have to make it free. You don't have to like put it in freaking you don't have to give all your stuff, your whole back catalog, to like a game preservation company or organization rather. If you don't want to, you could literally make money off of it, and that would be pretty much just as good, because at least you'd be making it available, right? But you won't even do that. Like, Nintendo won't even do that. Instead, they'll have this super stripped down, bare bones version of a virtual console, locked behind a monthly subscription. And then they get mad at people for emulating their stuff, emulating their games. I just don't understand. Or like modding systems in order to make them emulation machines and whatnot. They got mad at Steam for Valve for doing the index and allowing an emulator to even be on there, even though it's just an emulator. It's not. I mean, it's obviously it's for specific games, right? But they're cracking down on just the existence of an emulator, which is really just a program that's meant to do a certain thing. You don't like what it does, but like I don't know what the legal arguments behind that would be exactly. And my friend brought up a good point. Specifically my friend Kiefer, who I'm making we're making a game together right now. They brought up a good point, which is that would people be as excited for a lot of these remasters and remakes and whatnot if these games were more readily available, you know? I think in some cases people still would be, right? Because like Resident Evil 4 is not unavailable. It's available in many different shapes and forms across many different consoles, on PC, in VR, you know? They remastered Resident Evil 4 and 2 and 3 with a purpose in mind. Final Fantasy VII, that game is not trying to be a substitute for the original game. That game is trying to be an expansion of the original game. A reimagining of the original game. It's trying to do something new. This is Super Mario RPG from the looks of it. It has some new stuff in it, but for the most part, everything they showed here, this is one for one stuff. This is like the angle, the looks of things, the designs of characters even. All of this is Super Mario RPG, you know? It looks really nice. It's probably gonna have some like cool quality of life stuff, and it's gonna have some new mechanics which might make the battles and stuff even better. And I already thought they were pretty good. Mario RPGs have the added benefit of they're turn-based, but there's action commands and stuff like that, ways that you have to interact with abilities and attacks and things like that to make them better and to make them do more, which makes them more engaging usually. So this game is kind of a stand-in for the original game. But you know what isn't available? The original game. If the original game was more available through legitimate means, through legal means, would this be as exciting? If Super Mario RPG was on the SNES Virtual Console, which it's very specifically not, if you know, it would, I wonder why that is. Would this be as exciting? Probably not. So what does Nintendo do? Well, if they wanted to just make this just to, you know, have a have a celebration of that game by, like, you know, giving it a wonderful, like, beautiful new look and new mechanics and, you know, touching it up a bit, then that would be one thing. But the fact that they didn't put the original game on their virtual console and then did this instead, a way to, because if you check, you can pre-order this game right now. Comes out this year. It's $60. Oh, so they get to make $60 again for a game that is a remake of an SNES game. Interesting. Okay. All right. I mean, hey, I've said it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it there. You can look at that if you want. You can touch that if you want. I don't blame you if you don't want to. You know. Here's the thing, though. I say that knowing that I'm absolutely gonna get this game. Are you kidding me? Of course I'm gonna get this game. Of course, I love this game. Like, but you know, that's kind of the problem, right? I can admit that I'm part of the problem. Everybody's kind of part of the problem. Anybody who likes any form of media at this point is going to be feeding into this problem, because the thing is, they're trying to take things that you love and give them to you again and again and again to get money out of it. That is the goal, right? That is a goal. I'm not saying that the people who worked on, like, every single person who worked on this is only in it for the money. There's too much love here. There's like clearly not. Like, clearly this was a lot of love and attention was put into this, right? And that's awesome. That's great, and I love to see it. Look at this stumpy boy. Look at this good stumpy boy. And tell me that, like, somebody didn't lovingly craft this thing. Mario's not human, by the way. Mario is a plumber. that is a breed that you'd find out in the wild. The plumber. Yeah. I'm not saying the people who like every single person who makes these things is like, I'm not that cynical, right? But these things begin to get made to make money. That is the goal. That is the point, right? This was greenlit because they were like, hey, you know what people keep talking about wanting every single time there's a Nintendo Direct? They want Super Mario RPG. Okay, well, let's do that. So let's do that. Let's smash the emergency glass and if we can pull out the Super Mario RPG remaster. If you notice, Nintendo actually does that a lot. They do that a lot. A couple directs ago, it was the Metroid Prime remaster, which wasn't just something that they just sort of like, they shadow dropped that. They said, oh, hey, here's something you didn't know we were making. Also, it's out today. What? You psychopaths? They kind of actually did that again. Sort of. And then they just casually drop a standalone Peach game. That's not that, like, Super Princess Peach. Doesn't seem to be that. Weird stage play setting. Interesting, though. Probably not my kind of thing, but I'd have to see more. This obviously looks very early. It's cool. I mean, she looks great. The animations look great, stuff like that. And then also just, like, casually being like, oh, hey, here's a port of that 3DS game. Idea sparks, right? You can't. Here's the thing. Nintendo just doesn't just do things, right? Because what this does, they even point out this is Mario's first RPG. They acknowledged that Mario RPGs exist. Oh gosh. On the Game Boy Advance, one of the first games in the lineup somehow was Super Mario, or was Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, an RPG with Mario and Luigi. They've acknowledged, they're beginning to acknowledge that Mario RPGs exist. Alright? That could open the doors to many things. Maybe just ports. Maybe more remakes and remasters. Hey, you know what? The newest Paper Mario game looked really good. I don't think it's nearly as good, or really a Paper Mario game like Thousand Year Door. But hey, if you made Thousand Year Door visually look like the newest one, that'd be pretty cool. Or if you just ported it to the Switch, that would be fine. I'd be okay with that too. But you know, whatever. They're beginning to acknowledge that Mario RPGs used to exist, that people liked them, and they're very good, which blows my mind, because that means maybe more Mario and Luigi in the future. Although I think, didn't the company who was making that like die or whatever, which would be a huge bummer. Which I also don't understand how that would be, because I feel like those games are really popular. But those games might feel really popular because I really like them, and then I find other people who really like them as well, and see people talk about them in those circles. But that might be the case. But then also, they acknowledge that there are 3DS games, which could really, really use a new home, because the 3DS is freaking dead. And Nintendo doesn't need to have handheld consoles anymore, because they have the Switch, and it's both. So, acknowledging that 3DS games exist, and doing a like full up-res, and like this isn't a small up-res, this is a substantial up-res. Interesting. And then they announced a trilogy of games that will not run on the Switch. So, good for them. I don't know. I mean, maybe it could. They very specifically didn't show a lot of gameplay here. Yeah, they keep cutting a lot. I mean, you would imagine these games are not like pretty old at this point. You would imagine that like the Switch could run them, but I'm not so sure about that. Freaking Gloomhaven, Just Dance, no thank you. Traumatic memory from about a Just Dance game. Kinda really. I had two like multiple freaking farming games. Holy crud. Racing. Sparks of Hope DLC. Need to play that game. I have it. I like the first one. Just haven't played it yet. And then like 4 straight minutes of new Pikmin. Oh my gosh. I can't believe what they've done to me. What they've done to me with this. This game's crazy. We need to talk about this game. We need to talk about Pikmin. We need to talk about Pikmin because what the heck? Okay, first off. Pikmin is not the most popular game series that Nintendo has. It's not a popular game series in general, which I think is a huge shame, but I think they're very, very good games, right? Obviously, I'm playing through all of them right now. We're gonna get to that later too, because they shadow dropped something else that freaking I was like amazed and happy, and then I realized what that meant and was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Watching the chat anytime Pikmin anything gets shown, they're just like, okay, cool, move on. Okay, cool, move on. They show like this would start with like 5. This will be going for 5 seconds. People are like, okay, cool, we get it. Let's move on. And it's like, dude, you're just sleeping on it. You're just sleeping on a good game. If you're a Nintendo fan, also here's another thing too, right? If you're a Nintendo fan, you gotta be hopping on whatever new installment of any of their series that they're doing, all right? Because how often is Nintendo actually releasing new games with their own IPs, like in mainline games, not spin-offs, in phone games? It's like a bunch of third-party stuff. If they drop, I swear to everything, if they drop a new Star Fox, everybody, I don't care if you even know what Star Fox is. If you like Nintendo games, you need to get that. You need to get new Star Fox. This is the only way they will make new things that are like branching out and expanding their series. The only way they will continue to do that is if you show support of that thing. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if it's your personal thing. It's probably gonna be really good. It's gonna be really high quality. Probably gonna be really polished. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Or else they will not make new things. They will not make new things unless you support the new like weird takes and new weird entries in series, and this is for sure one of them. Couple things that tiny. I didn't even know. I watched two people talk about something. I watched Jimble last night, but before the night before the direct, he talked about a theory that had been floating around of, oh, this is going to be in a different timeline. I was like, that sounds ridiculous. Why would this isn't Zelda? They don't need to do multiple timelines. Boy, did I eat my words, because we'll get to that. And then I also watched Hef already do a breakdown thing. So I noticed. So I pointed out. He pointed out Hef is a play. He's a variety streamer, but he has and does stream a lot of Pikmin stuff, and I find it really entertaining. He's a cool guy. Like he streams like Pikmin, like mod, like hard, like difficult, like mod packs and stuff. Or ROM hacks rather, which is cool. But yeah, so like clearly just different sized enemies, which is interesting. Oh, my heart. Then when I saw this, I got a big dumb grin on my face right now. Look at the Mamuda, and they're furry. Were they always supposed to be furry? I don't know. They did kind of seem like little tiny mammal creatures, but look at him. And they kept them, here's the thing I like, adapted to the new style, but they kept him stylistically and visually the same. He still has the same like eerie kind of like the weird like pale blue eyes and stuff like that. I guess I thought these were tattoos originally. They just kind of, they made them like sleeves now. Like he's wearing like a knitted bracelet of sorts. And the spectral lid. We got minnows. Oh my gosh, so many good boys. So many good boys. Pikmin fans eating well with all these good boys walking around. Look at this guy. I like him. But we do need to, at the risk of a little kind of funny, talk about the elephant in the room. Not this guy. He's fine. This is a kitchen. This is a full-blown kitchen. This is not only a full-blown kitchen. There's a stove on. Not safe. This is a modern, like a modern day, highly detailed, like clean, lived in looking kitchen. What? What is this game? What are we doing? What are we doing now? And you know, it was really striking me as odd because I didn't know how I felt about that. I didn't know how I felt about there being a whole house in the background. And then in this trailer, they show you going into the house. They show you going to the living room, the kitchen, upstairs, downstairs. And I'm like, what is happening actually though? What are we doing now? What is Pikmin now? Actually, a lot of questions. That question came up a lot. Actually, the longer this trailer went on, the more I kept asking myself, what is Pikmin? Like, what are we doing and what is Pikmin? Sometimes in good ways, sometimes in like genuinely questioning ways of like, is this the same game? Is this a series that I like that I'm playing right now? Is this that, or is this like something else? They're really branching out with this one. They're really experimenting with a lot of ideas, and I'm gonna be really interested to see what this actually excited me a lot. This excited me a whole heck of a lot, actually. I'm very, very excited to get my hands on this. But I didn't know how I felt about the indoor stuff until I considered something. In Pikmin 2, which I'm currently playing and recording, I haven't uploaded obviously daily uploads, but the Pikmin 1 playthrough has not been fully uploaded yet. I'm playing Pikmin 2 right now, and I haven't gotten to them, but the caves later on start to kind of diverge from just being like underground tunnels and hallways and stuff, they start to become a lot of different things. Like sometimes you're on some metal scaffolding floating in an abyss that also still seems to be in a cave, but you're on like man-made metal scaffolding structures, like beams and stuff, and it's like, okay, that's odd. And then you get to some caves, and I hadn't thought about this really, right? Because in my mind, I'm like, caves are underground. That's just what they are. But it's like, well, is that true? Because there are caves where you're walking on like wood, like wooden boards, like a wooden table, and there are like toys that are making the paths for you, and like there are like pencils and crayons and blocks that are like making pathways for you, like you're sitting on the floor of somebody's living room. Hint, hint. And then there's that, and then there's ones where you're on a big tablecloth, and it clearly looks like you're at a dining room table, and it's like, okay, so what is that then? So what are we doing? There are some where you're in like a garden, not like an underground, like mossy kind of garden, like an above ground garden with like things that would be in like human things that would be in a garden, like stepping stones and pathways made out of like plant dividers and things like that, right? All to which to say, it's not new ground. It's not new ground. Being in what seems to be like inside physical spaces, like human spaces, is not new ground. It's in fact ground that has been slightly touched on in my favorite Pikmin game. So any reservations I have about being in a literal home should like have been somewhat quenched, or quelled, or both. I am still unsure. It's gonna depend on being I need to play the game and be in those environments and see. That's what I need to do. I'd be very interested to see how that feels. I was also really happy to see that it seems like between like the initial teasers trailer they showed when they announced the game till now, it seems like they did a lot more texture work and stuff. Obviously, being this zoomed in, you're gonna see like, it's not like the highest definition, but like from a distance, everything looks really good. I always like the like weird like hyper realistic style. This looks really good. I'm still not sure how I feel about this perspective. It's kind of growing on me. I'm kind of hoping you can still like go above you if you wanted to. One thing I do appreciate about this perspective though already is getting to see like way off into the distance, getting to see like the background and stuff like that. What it also does is it makes you feel even smaller than you already do in Pikmin games. Like being able to be low to the ground next to your character and see how everything looks off in the distance is interesting, and I do like that. Straight up. Yeah, this is the area that I'm showing a lot. This is your like clearly your like Garden of Hope / like Awakening Wood area. Very Awakening Wood specifically though, because Awakening Wood really feels like you're in a garden. There's tiles on the floor and tiles in the ground, like making walkways and pots for plants and potted plants and things like that. I kind of love Ochi. Not from like a, he's super cute kind of way, kind of from a like mechanical sense. And I'm surprised because when they first announced Ochi, I was like, man, we're getting odd. Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice this at first. This 30 out of 30. What? Like not forever though, right? Maybe forever. Oh no, okay, clearly not forever because 40 out of 40 now. Okay, so we don't get squads of 100? Do we ever get squads of like a full 100? Or I don't know. Who's to say? They more often than not, they show in this trailer, anytime they show this game, you don't have very large squads. So I don't know. And then he even said, get treasures, expand the radar, get new get new areas. I thought it was starting to look like when I initially watched this trailer, it was starting to feel like, wait a minute, is this just one big map? Or all of the trailers were kind of making me feel like, because they were really showing that like first area a lot, but they've confirmed, no, you do go to other areas. This is obviously like a sandbox beach kind of like thing. This is an area? Is the interior of the house just its own whole thing? Look at this boy. You know who that is? That's the freaking OG cannon beetle, and you love to see it. He looks great. He already had a great design, but he looks great. Look at him stomping around. Now, granted, if you notice something, this is a living room. You might have one. You might have been in a living room before once in your life. Look at how everything is proportioned. And now look how big he is. He is the size of a small dog, but he is a big beetle. I don't like that. I don't like the implications of that. I don't like the implications that this is an Earth where beetles the size of my head were roaming around, shooting rocks at me, presumably, since that is what they are known to do. Yeah, like they're entering this with only 30 Pikmin still. Do we ever see a squad of 100? Very classic looking cave setup. Very classic. Oh my gosh, the fire guy's looking crazy. Now this means a whole heck of a lot, because this right here looks like a level that was created by hand to work a certain way. This looks like some handcrafted level design, you know? This doesn't look like some like reused layouts or procedurally generated kind of thing, kind of a deal. This looks like this is made to be maneuvered through a certain way, and that's sick. I love that. Which also means the floors of the cave seem like they're going to be a little bit more extensive, or a lot more extensive rather. We got like a wait, are those Pikmin in the ground right there, over there? Who are they? Oh, here we go. We got 60 out of 60. Okay. All right. I see. I understand. I see you. We're like in an we're in a cave, quote unquote, but like we're in an aquarium. I love that idea. This is like really interesting because it's weird, right? It kind of feels weird. Kind of feels like uncanny because like you're in an environment that you're used to, like a natural sort of like sandy beach or marsh environment, right? But then it's like it's clearly it's fake though. Like it's clear, you can see it's fake. It's like you're stuck in a Petco. Like in a Petco aquarium. Oh, crud. Pikmin 4. Petco's Revenge or something. I don't know. Look how big this freaking Wollywog is, man. They were already so large. Oh, we're not taking grapes one at a time anymore? Oh, we just carry the whole bundle now? Alright, if you say so. Oh, they gotta build that from the ceiling. I didn't even think about that. They pulled that from the ceiling? That's weird. Another thing that I found out through watching Hef break things down, because I guess there was more information on one of the websites. One of the things they talked about is that you can only, even though there are way more Pikmin types, which we'll see later what they all are, but even though there are way more Pikmin types now, you can only have 3 types out at once. You're back to only having 3 types available to you at once. You can't take like a little bit of every Pikmin type. Now here's the thing. As we'll see, they put every single previous type of Pikmin in the game. Well, type that you could like have control of freely. They didn't put like puff Pikmin in there, like the ones that get turned into like the mushroom Pikmin, that get turned into mushrooms by the puff stool. But like reds, yellow, blues. You got new ice Pikmin, and then you got purples again are gonna be back. Whites are gonna be back. Super cool, both super cool. And flower and rock. That's 8 types of Pikmin. I do not think that divides into 100 evenly. In fact, it for sure doesn't. You could have like what? Like not even like a little more than 10 of each. You could have a little more than 10 of some of them. It's interesting. It's a limitation that feels very much like something the game is going to be based like built around. I hope. I feel like the game has to be built around that. You can have 12.5 Pikmin of each Pikmin type if there are 8 Pikmin types, which would be a big squad of a lot of different kinds of Pikmin to have to navigate. And I don't know if it would be enough to do anything substantial with each of them if they were split into groups of 12. Although, oftentimes you do have to work with groups of 20. In Pikmin 2, groups of 20 Pikmin each. So I don't know. Seems like it could have been done, but I don't know. I don't know why them putting that limitation on feels like there's a point to it. It feels like their intention was to have the game be played with that limitation for a reason. Like they're designing the game around that. I hope that's the case. I hope it's not just arbitrary. Sometimes game developers put limitations on you that are like super arbitrary and like have no purpose. They play this off as goofy. They play this with like, oh, here's some goofy music. Oh, hey, wait a minute, this dude's stealing one of the survivors away from you that you're trying to save. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with the freaking that theory that Jimbo mentioned? Are you out of your mind? It really is another timeline. Really? Come on, man. You're coming here. You're coming to this planet. Some people did some like basis theory off of something, right? Which was that you come to this planet as a rescue team to look for Captain Olimar, who has been sending out a distress signal for a month. A month being potentially 30 days. In 30 days, Olimar's oxygen, like with life support, would have failed on his ship, and he would have died on the planet. That would lead you to the bad ending, where the Pikmin take Olimar, put him in the onion, and then he turns into one of them. He gets planted in the ground. Turns into one of them. Gets planted in the ground. Turns into one of them. This is clearly Olimar's suit. This is his nose. These are his eyes. This game takes place in the bad ending. There is now a bad ending timeline where Olimar does not succeed. He fails. He dies on the planet. The Pikmin harvest him. He becomes one of them. For some reason, becomes not just more Pikmin, but he doesn't get broken down into more Pikmin. He becomes something else. Either that or the Pikmin did something to him. He's like weird flesh, but it's hair, but it's not. But he's a Pikmin, but he's not. And then he steals other survivors that you're trying to save. If you wish to retrieve your castaway, prove that your Dandori abilities are superior to mine. Why? Is he the antagonist? Is he an antagonist for the whole game now? Why is he doing this? What are his motivations? What is this for? And then you do a bingo battle from 2, basically. And you kill his dog. You just beat the snot out of his dog. For good reason, I suppose. But why? What happened to Olimar? If this is Olimar, I mean, I imagine it has to be. But if this is Olimar, what happened to him to make him want to be stealing away? Does he want to make more of himself? Is that going to be a thing? If you fail to save a survivor from him, if you fail the Dandori battle, does he get to recruit another? Does he get to make another one of him? That's horrifying. Why is that? Why? Just why, I guess. Oh wait, by saving more castaways, you'll get to do more activities at base camp. Oh yeah, who's this guy? Oh yeah, and then this is crazy. Ochi has a bunch of freaking. He has like level. He can level up. He has like an ability path. He can learn heal. You can like freaking upgrade how much he can carry on his own. He can carry a freaking whole bulb, like bulb blacks on his own. Upgraded him to good boy. And then this. Do you just have access to all this gear, or do you have to buy gear? Where it says gear items. Oh, so there's items too. But then, like, do you have to find the gear first and then you can upgrade them? Or like what? And then there's a nighttime? Oh, we already knew this. They already revealed this. But what they didn't reveal is that there's like termite hills filled with glow Pikmin. Apparently, Hef, he a while back, like I don't know if he said years or months ago, theorized that the next Pikmin were going to be Cyan Pikmin, which are ice, which were going to have the power of ice, and then Ghost Pikmin. And would you look at this? they're called glow Pikmin. Like how weird these guys are. They poof around. The ghosts. They're clearly ghosts. But like, look at this weird freaking termite hill. Oh, whoops. No, take me back. Take me back. I want to go back. Look at this cursed thing. Naked freaking bull blacks. He's nude. I mean, they're all technically nude, right? But this feels like. Where's the ladybug pattern? Why is this boy naked? Who took his clothes? And then you have a whole new Pikmin type just for nighttime. So there's really 9 Pikmin types that we know of in the game. But these ones are only at night. And they have these weird termite hills. Luminols. And they do their own thing. They go, I guess, maybe down into the ground during the daytime. That actually makes sense. The onion goes up into the sky at night. And then maybe the termite hills go down to the ground during the daytime. That would make sense. And then it becomes like a weird, like, tower defense of sorts. This reminds me of something. This right here, this like energy ball move, reminds me of an idea that I had for a Pikmin. I was like, okay, my idea was like, I drew a lot of like, I was really into Pikmin, like really into it. I really hyper fixated on it. And I was drawing a bunch of Pikmin types that I thought would be cool. And some of them were cool and some of them were like ridiculous. I might have drawn Ghost Pikmin. Maybe I'll take credit for that. I came up with Ghost Pikmin. No. I don't remember. I can't find these drawings. I looked for them a while back. I can't find any of them, so they must be sitting in a box somewhere, I would imagine. I think they were like old sketchbooks that I don't have like sitting under my bed. Um, I came up with like, oh, what if there was orange Pikmin, right? And there would be goo, basically. And what that would mean is that they would stick to enemies, and they wouldn't be able to get like thrown off from enemies first off. So they could stay on enemies and keep hitting them no matter what. They wouldn't be like immune to anything. But then also when you would throw them onto an enemy, they would fuse together to make like a bigger blob, basically, because they were made of goo. And I really like this idea. I didn't really have an idea for like what them forming a big mass on an enemy would do, other than maybe just like a damage bonus. But I liked the idea of them not being able to get thrown off. And they didn't have, and they still don't have like orange Pikmin. So I thought, oh, that'd be cool. I came up with like other ideas. Like I came up with some like really off the wall stuff. I like the idea of making Pikmin that were like things, based off of things that could also have like stems, quote unquote stems. Like having Pikmin that were bombs and the stem would be a fuse that would light when you would throw them. I don't know how that would work. That sounds like that would get you and all your Pikmin killed constantly if your Pikmin were bombs themselves. But who the heck knows? Hey, but if they got eaten, they'd blow up, do a bunch of damage, you know. Visually, like design-wise, just kind of makes itself instead of a stem as a fuse with like a spark at the end of it. That makes sense. Oh boy. The back of my throat is getting dry as heck, but I must go on. My thirst is not satiated. And how do you look at this? There's a kid's drawing on here. Drawing of a plane, I think. A safe. And then also look, they had rock Pikmin on them. These weirdos. Yeah, just casually revealing that rock Pikmin are also in the game. And here's the new ice Pikmin. Here's a squad of blues, whites, and pink. They just casually dropped that the pink ones are back too. And of course, classic primary colors. I mean, it's a lot, but then it's interesting because it's like, is there going to be redundancy across any of the Pikmin types? For instance, what are the point of blues now? Because ice Pikmin also go into the can go into the water. If I remember correctly, they're also like immune to water. They don't get hurt by that. So what do blue Pikmin have over ice Pikmin? Because ice Pikmin then also freeze things. Now, is it like ice Pikmin will freeze the water if they go into it? Because I think you have to throw them into it from what it looked like. I don't know. And then here's the thing: if you can only have 3 types at a time, how is that going to play into exploration, right? How far ahead are you going to have to plan, or is the map set up in a way to where like you could roll out with like an assortment of a couple different types of whatever you want and manage fine, or not? Because that would be very unlike Pikmin. In the other Pikmin games, you have to be very deliberate with what you have out and how much of each Pikmin type you have out to progress, right? Like you have to consciously be making a choice there. Limiting you down to 3, and then seemingly working with much smaller sizes most of the time. Like if you look, every single clip, they do not have that many Pikmin. Like this is only 61 Pikmin still. Is that just for better visuals? Do they ever go past 61? They never show 100, that's for sure. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. I'm very curious like how the gameplay loop's gonna feel in that game, of like traveling out with like different squads of Pikmin, like how many Pikmin you want. I understand that Ochi is like is like a filler or a fill-in for like Pikmin jobs. Like he does damage. He has like a charge move, so you can break things down. And he can carry Pikmin, and he can carry objects and enemy corpses and things like that. I understand all that, but like, is that what it's gonna be? It's like you roll out with a much smaller squad because Ochi's just going to be a direct stand-in for everybody. I don't know if I'm gonna like that. He seems really cool. He seems like a fun mechanic. Well, he seems fun mechanically speaking, but like, I don't know. I don't really know if that like it, cause I'm playing a Pikmin game, you know, and I want to roll out with a squad. If anything, I feel like people have pushed to have more Pikmin out in the squad, although that would be kind of ridiculous, right? That would get to be too much, but it's a thought. And then they do this. We have even more Pikmin news, and then everybody in the chat, you know, everybody who was watching the stream sighed, and it was like, we get it, we're done. Please, no more Pikmin. Guys, just play Pikmin. Just play the Pikmin games. And you know what? You don't have an excuse not to play the Pikmin games. Guess what? Now they're out on the Switch. They're out on the Switch. My greatest dream, my worst nightmare. I bought these, of course. We're going to have the strangest transition. First 5 episodes of Pikmin 2, of my Pikmin 2 playthrough, are going to be me like up-resing Pikmin 2, the Wii version of Pikmin 2 on my Wii U. And then from that point on, it's going to be like sweet HD with a completely different control scheme. Digital versions available later today. I actually, when I saw this, I was like, I actually immediately said to myself, please don't come out anytime soon. Please don't come out anytime soon. But of course they are, because they want these to be out. So people who are like, I wonder if I'd like Pikmin games. I wonder what happened to the other ones. Can play these ones now in anticipation for 4. Now also, the entire Pikmin franchise. This is rare form for Nintendo. The entirety of the Pikmin franchise is available on the Wii. All the ones that matter, anyways. Yeah, they're all on the Wii now. Did I say the Wii? The Switch. The Switch. Oh, I'm so dumb. They re-released Pikmin 1 and 2 on the Wii. No, they're all available. All 4 games are all available on the Switch, all in one spot. Amazing. Actually great. I don't like that they changed the title to match the 4, because I like the title being made out of Pikmin entirely, because I think it looks cool. I think it's like what it like, you know, it's very in line with the games. But I do like how they just flat out called it like 1. They just flat out called it 1 instead of just calling it Pikmin. Yeah, these are just casually out today. I just can't believe, like, look how clean and crisp. Look how clean and crisp it looks. Look how clean and crisp this one looks. Wow. And I saw clips. I saw screenshots and stuff. They fully redid. What, like they fully up-resed and upscaled the like cutscenes and stuff too. It's crazy. It's really, really good. Everything looks really, really nice and clean now. I don't know what the controls are. I'm assuming they're more. It's back to being like the GameCube controls. I don't think they're porting like the Wii. They would have had to do more than just port it and like. Well, they already made them HD. Maybe they did adapt it to do gyro controls with the point and click. So that would be interesting. I don't know. I would be kind of amiss because I've been enjoying using the pointer controls on the Pikmin games. But hey, I would honestly much rather have a really clean HD playthrough of Pikmin 2 before the new one comes out than like just experience it with like pointer controls. I could just do that on my own time, personally, and this would be like great for recording too. I mean, this makes me really happy, but also I already played the entirety of 1, and then I've already started playing 2, and it's like, you couldn't have released these a month ago? You've been talking about Pikmin 4. That's been on the horizon. That's been on the schedule for months. You didn't think to trickle these out or to release them both like a couple months ago? Be like, hey, in anticipation for Pikmin 4, why don't you catch up on the series? Nope. Nope. Why would you? Why would you do that? Why would you do that for me, Nintendo? I know you don't like me. I hate you, Nintendo. I just can't believe this. And then they like release a double pack. Now, granted, hell, games preservation. Nintendo loves to put a game people want on a new console when they can make big money off of it. The double pack was $50. Each of these games individually, they priced it at $30. So you actually save $10 if you get the double pack instead of buying them individually. But holy crud, you've got to be kidding me. $50 for 2 GameCube games that are HD, widescreen HD. But like, they're not sitting here talking about having done anything else to them, huh? Don't think so. So these are just HD ports. These are just 2 GameCube games you ported to the Switch and then charged $50 for. That sucks. I bought them already. I'm going to play them. That sucks though. That does not, you know, I don't buy into the whole, oh, but you like, oh, you don't have room to complain because you bought the thing. Of course I bought the thing, right? I bought it for the reason that they expected people to buy it because I like these games and I want to support the series. I really, really like these games. I'm excited for more Pikmin stuff. I'm excited for these. Having all the games exist on one console is really, really nice. It's really, really handy. It's super, super convenient. Getting official, non-emulated HD versions of these games is amazing. That's awesome. This is a good thing that happened. Doesn't mean I have to like the price tag. Doesn't mean I have to be happy about the fact that they're charging $50 for 2 GameCube games, which is also, by the way, they'd be charging $60 if it was a double pack of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, except they wouldn't do a double pack of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. You think they're going to package those things together? No, if they did those 2 games, those would be separate games. They'd probably be $40 each. They want your money, period. That is their goal. That is their aim. Demo, 28th. Pikmin 4. I'm not gonna play this. I don't typically like playing demos. I played the demo for FF16 because I was just in the mood to do something completely different, and I was like, other than like the stuff that I've been like streaming and recording, and I'm like, you know what? I want to play. I also just like, I really want to play FF16 right now. That comes out tomorrow. As of recording this, if you're watching this the day this comes out, then I already have FF16. But I'm recording this the night before. So, yeah. So that was crazy. They announced Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. I have a PS3 game that has every single Metal Gear Solid game on it, except all except Phantom Pain. I just have Phantom Pain separate. So these are really redundant. The one I have even comes with like the 2D games. Yeah, it even comes with Metal Gear 1 and 2. It doesn't have this, but I don't need that. I think it even has like this stuff. The game that I have on the PS3 has every single game, including Peace Walker and all of the a bunch of the VR missions for a bunch of games. It has 1, 2, 3, and 4 on it, and Metal Gear 1 and 2. Yeah, it has like everything, and then I think it even does have like this. It has like some off-brand stuff and like comics and things like that. It has everything in it. I don't know why they're doing this again. It's very weird to me that they're like they've taken the series, split it in half, and then are releasing it in two different parts when they've already released this before like this. However, this does look pretty extensive. Screenplay books, master books. Yeah, I mean, this is all cool. It's all interesting. Strategy guides. Oh. I mean, yeah, that sounds really extensive. Heck, I mean, okay, that's like way more extensive. I mean, pretty crazy of Konami to go that hard with Metal Gear Solid, considering what they did to it and its creator. But, I mean, hey, they were trying to get people back on their side. They're making a Metal Gear Solid 3 remaster. They desperately want people back on their side. This is just to build up hype for the new game, well, the remaster rather. I mean, hey, they put way more work into this than Nintendo did for Mario 3D All Stars, for sure, 100%. Mario 3D All-Stars barely feels like a game that was put together. It feels like you booted up an emulator to run 3 other games. Like, to just run, like, ROMs of games. Like, pretty much. Like, yeah, you cleaned up Mario Sunshine, but then you botched the controls a little bit, so it feels weird to do, like, spraying and stuff like that. Mainly because in the original game it was pressure sensitive, and but you don't let... But attaching a GameCube controller doesn't you can't use the pressure sensitivity on a GameCube controller though. Dumb. If you hook up a GameCube controller to the Switch, which you can do. They didn't do that, but they cleaned up. They made it like HD, which is nice. Mario 64 is basically just Mario 64. They didn't like widescreen it or do anything like that. Didn't give it like a nice border or anything either. When it's in 4:3, it's just Mario 64 sitting in the middle of your screen. Sunshine is like upscaled. The most impressive one is probably Galaxy. One that Galaxy exists on a different console is great. But then they didn't do Mario Galaxy 2. What is that collection? Why did you leave one out? One that's like probably one of the it's like probably one of the best ones from just a like objective standpoint, right? It's probably just objectively one of the best ones. Has most stuff in it. The levels are great. The music is great. It feels great to play. But I mean, at least they gave you the pointer controls. They bound them to the gyro controls for Mario Galaxy, and they obviously cleaned that one up too. Made it look all nice and pretty. Everything runs at like 60 frames. I don't know. But then there's like nothing else in the games. It gives like a brief history. Compared to like the Kirby collection or like the original 2D, like the 2D Mario All-Stars, yo, that collection is sweet. That collection's great. It came with a physical soundtrack. So did the Kirby Anniversary Collection on the Wii. Come on, Nintendo. Care. Could you care? Sometimes, please? Anyways, Vampire Survivors. If you like Cookie Clicker, this is that with extra steps, so you should probably play this. I actually have played this. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun in the I need to watch things explode faster and to watch the numbers go up kind of a way. Bunch of other stuff. Petey Piranha's back in Mario Kart. That's great. You in a bathtub. You're racing around a bathtub. Wiggler. Kamek. Awesome. Cool. Great. This. I heard Star Ocean 2 is very good. I don't know how I feel about everybody doing like remasters, like the HD 2D remaster stuff. Octopath Traveler happened, and then every single company who has an RPG in the back pocket is like, oh, what if we did that? What if we did that with one of our old games? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's just like... Sometimes it looks fine. Sometimes it looks fine, and then sometimes it looks weird. Well, this one specifically weird, because at least in Octopath Traveler, like everything, I'm pretty sure, like a lot of things are like 2D. I'm pretty sure, or like pixel art. This is like a 3D rendered world that doesn't really have much of. I think the problem is the 3D world doesn't really have an art style. It's just sort of like generic plain spaghetti. Like spaghetti with no sauce. Very, very, very like low res, like low poly, just sort of like generic 3D art, right? And then you have like pixel people running around in it. I don't know, and like, is there a point to that? Did you have a purpose with that, or did you just think to yourself like, oh, we got to keep the characters as sprites? And then I also just don't like how they light these things. It's like the only thing they took from Octopath Traveler is that the lighting like is bright sometimes, and so every like HD 2D remaster just cranks up the freaking saturation, cranks up the freaking brightness, so that like everything is being hit by direct sunlight. It's blinding all the time. Oh my gosh, like the crud. And then for some reason, these fights look like they have slowdown. Even though it's pixel people hopping around and doing like combos on pixel people. This game should not be experiencing slowdown. I guess there's like these effects. Unless the slowdown is like a built-in thing that's supposed to be dramatic, but like, yeah, it looks like it's really suffering from performance issues, which is like the last thing a game that looks like this should be suffering from. I don't know. Here's the thing. I mean, I'd like to play. I would probably play this though. It fluctuates from like looking okay to looking kind of bad visually. I'm on a visual note. But I mean, if this is supposed to be a really good game, this is a really interesting remaster for it. This looks wild. That all looked super crusty. If you're gonna do 2D HD, you have to have an art style for the 3D just as much as the 2D has. Okay, like you have to focus. You have to put the time in on both. New WarioWare thought this was gonna be like an update or a DLC for the Wario game that already exists on the Switch. It's not. It's its own thing. So, good for them. They brought up Tears of the Kingdom and said, thank you for making us billions of dollars. And then dropped it. Well, they said those amiibos. Who the heck cares though? But then, they're like, we got one more thing. And I'm like, okay, this is where you're allowed. At this point, you gave me Super Mario RPG. You gave me some interesting stuff, some cool things. You gave me like an extensive Pikmin 4 overview, which made me actually like legitimately excited. I was like anticipating the new game, but it didn't have me like hooked, like can't wait to play this day one kind of deal. It kind of had me feeling like, yeah, okay, it's probably gonna be a good Pikmin game. It looks interesting. This was the first trailer that actually got me like 100% on board. Everything they showed in this Pikmin breakdown was amazing. And then this next segment would be our last one, and I'm like, okay, cool. What could it possibly be? What are we missing at this point? What could they possibly be? Look. He's like a clay man. He looks like how he has been rendered before on older games, like on the box art. Let's just let this run for a second. I mean, my jaw. My jaw was on the floor. My jaw was on the floor for Super Mario RPG. My jaw was on the floor for a lot of the Pikmin stuff. My jaw fell off watching this. Look. First off, look at that run cycle. Look at that. Oh, that is animation bliss. Look how happy he is doing anything. He's like animated on twos. It's like this game looks borderline experimental. Look at how his face stays like perfectly, his head and face stay perfectly still while his whole body moves, and his body moves in a very specific way. It looks like 2D, 3D. He looks like a clay Mario that's in motion. The backgrounds are gorgeous. He when he runs in the pipe, hat comes off. Wait for it. Grabs the hat. Freaking reaches back, grabs the hat. And what that looks like in motion, it's so slick. The animation is so slick. Grabs his hat, pops out the other side, looks around for a second. I like how when he's not moving, it's like classic Mario, like his mouth is under his mustache. But then when he's running, like his mouth goes off to the side and he has a smirk. People were saying, oh my gosh, they replaced Charles Martinet. That didn't happen. I guess he just recorded new voice lines and people aren't used to hearing new Mario voice lines. And then Mario does freaking actual shrooms and goes on a drug trip, and then everything gets freaking weird. Also, there are like purple bit things and coins. Wonder is a good tagline for the game, because I'm wondering how this came to be. Look at, and then Daisy's a playable character. Look at her. She's like a full freaking character. Bowser's bad guy again, whatever. Peach is a character, and Toad's still gonna be a character. Yoshi's here. Look at that! Oh my! Look at that animation on Yoshi. Look at him kick his freaking leg. Look at his face. He looks like he's gonna have a freaking he's gonna have a hernia. Like he's trying so hard. Peach has a giant Mario hat, but it's pink and has a symbol on it, so she can float too. I am in utter disbelief. Where's Blue Toad? Where's Red Toad? Why doesn't Red Toad ever get to come have this four Yoshis getting hit, being attacked by missile? Is Yoshi a playable character? Because before it showed Mario use Yoshi like a mount, like usual, as if Yoshi's like a power basically. But then here are 4 playable Yoshis. 4, and then look at this castle in the background. Look how it looks. Look at the streams of color. Look at it's Bowser's castle. And then, oh my gosh, all the like the text and stuff popping up all the time. All the freaking flavor text and stuff. Who is this guy? Are we in a whole new kingdom now? And then this comes out in October. What is going on? Oh my gosh. I love it. I just no notes. I can't believe that after like the things that they did show during this, which is a lot of cool stuff, a lot of stuff that was gonna appease a lot of people. They just hit you with a brand new 2D Mario game. And but they don't just hit you with a brand new 2D Mario game. they hit you with a brand new take on a 2D Mario game, because everybody was saying, I saw a lot of people saying this past week, hey, I want a new Mario game. Do not do new Super Mario Bros. Again. Let that stuff freaking die. And after thinking about it for a bit, I was like, you know what? Yeah, because those games do not stick out in my brain nearly as much as like other Mario games do. As much as like the 3D ones do. And why is that? Well, because the 3D ones, for the most part, really branch out and do some wacky stuff every single installment. Except 3D Mario World. The new Super Mario Bros. Games really started to feel very, very bland, very, very cookie cutter. The most exciting thing that was going to happen in each one was just like a new power-up or returning power-ups or things like that. So I saw somebody make that point. That was a very good point. This game is like they asked the question of how much random nonsense can we put in a game and still be able to call it a Mario game. Also, the art style. It's weird because the art style, at first I was like, okay, so it's clearly like, I was looking at the backgrounds and stuff. I was like, okay, so it's clearly like new Super Mario Bros, right? But then the more you look at the details and stuff like that, and like the shading, everything's so pastel, everything's so pleasing. This Mario's like power-up animation here, the way it's animated, oh, cursed. It's so weird, it's so cursed. But the animation and everything and the art style is so expressive. Look at him. Yeah, it's like jittery. It's like claymation almost. It's kind of what it feels like. The good, the great, the supers. You get like combo text. These hippos. This hippo's having a terrible time. He wish he wasn't here. He probably wishes he was 6 feet underground. Oh man, you're gonna put him there surely. They got the freaking chestnut guys back from like crud. What are they from? They gotta be from like 2? No. Are they from World? They're from World. The chestnut guys. They're from World, aren't they? Surely. I don't know what sort of weird freaking. Where are you? Look at Mario zooming along on these paths. We got freaking Koopas and skates. The animation, oh my gosh. This is the most expressive Mario has been in a 2D game in a long time. Since probably World. Because, like, what 2D Mario games came out after World, right? Like nothing, right? Like, was it straight to, was the next thing the new Super Mario Bros? Because there's no 2D, there's like, obviously there's no 2D Mario on the GameCube, that's for sure. So yeah, it was probably New Super Mario World, which at the time was like, oh, look at this really clean, nice, crisp, clean, looking like 2D Mario game. And then the more they did it, the more it was like, wow, this got really bland really fast. It's like too clean. This is some wacky cartoon. You know what this is? When a game is rated like E or E10 plus, and it says it's rated E10 plus for comic mischief, this is comic mischief. This is what that's talking about. And then Mario does drugs. Mario does actual drugs, and things get crazy. The glowing red eyes on the mountains way in the background and everything gets dark. This is a bad trip. This is a nightmare realm. You've transported me to hell. Mario took a freaking acid tablet and then just went straight to the underworld. He got long. Mario got really long. Look at this. This is cursed. This is cursed. Mario is gonna get longer. You look at this Goomba getting the work. I don't know how they arrived to this. I don't know how they got here. I don't know how we got here. Because if you look at the last 2D Mario game that came out, and then you look at this one, how did we get here? I wouldn't say 3D. I'm not going to count 3D Land and 3D World. I wouldn't count them in a... If I was doing a 3D Legacy, I don't feel like I would include those two games. I actually like those games, but they're also like very clean, like sterile Mario games, right? They still feel very much in line with New Super Mario Bros. But if we think about like the last 2D Mario game that came out, like true 2D Mario game being New Super Mario Bros. U, oh my gosh, that game didn't even feel like it was a complete game. I think you had to unlock most of the actual levels in it. I played through it, and when it was over, I was like, wait a minute, it's over already? I've barely done anything. Like, I barely have played any levels. I played maybe like 20 levels or something. I don't know. This? Look at like the way the characters run, the way the characters are animated. They're all animated as if they're flat 2D characters. Look at Princess Peach's animations. Oh, she's the little hands out, happy face. Oh man. Yeah, everything's obviously animated like it's in 2D, which is great. But then what they did was they styled everything the same way. Like they didn't style them like the 3D models. They styled them as if they were 2D characters. The way Mario's like has a hand-drawn mouth and stuff like that. The way characters like the details on these characters and stuff look. If anything, I think Peach is a little weird. Peach looks like normal 3D rendered Peach, but then she's animated like the other characters who look like they've been designed for this style more. Yoshi looks great. Yoshi looking like Mario 64 render Yoshi. Good for him. Can you do this all the time? Or is that like a power-up? You just said time to fly, and then they just busted it out. If we can turn this into like freaking Breath of the Wild. This is Breath of the Mushrooms. Breath of the Plumber. Breath of the Mushroom Kingdom. I don't know. Look at this. What are we doing? I can't believe Daisy's there. Cowards. They didn't make Wario or Waluigi playable characters. Cowards. Whatever. It's so satisfying. This being like a weird like painting. Like a Pascal painting? Pascal? Is it Pascal? I don't know if it's Pascal. I am in utter disbelief that they had this in their back pocket too. And then, oh, you want to know about new power-ups? Didn't even show you what power-ups there are. Here you go. Be an actual elephant. That's right. Don't get dressed up like an elephant. What, you think Tanuki suit? You think the flying squirrel suit? You think the fire flower? You don't get to dress up as a thing? No, be an elephant. Be an elephant. Apparently, there's already Rule 34 of this guy. Like an hour after this came out, bunch of Rule 34 of Mario as an elephant. People are freaks. Good for them. I'm glad you got apparently exactly what you wanted. And then what does he do? Hits Goombas with his trunk, I guess. Oh, probably does something with the water. You two are you guys are sociopaths for this. You've just been sitting on this stuff in your back pocket. Been sitting on freaking Pikmin 1 and 2 HD ports. Sitting on a brand new 2D Mario game after how long? I've been sitting here for years being like, where's my Mario, man? I need my fix. I need my fix. I can't, like, I was thinking about it the other day, and it dawned on me. I'm like, I've got an itch to play Mario. I need to play a platformer game. Like, it's actually bugging me that I don't have a new Mario game to play. Granted, there's a lot of like platformers I could, like, I need to play Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower obviously looks freaking great. Great game. Oh, you know what though? Quick mention. This is from the people who made Sonic Mania. They made their own a brand new IP. It's a freaking full-on 3D platformer. A classic 3D platform. First off, love the main characters. Love her animations. It's great. I love these guys. This looks fun. This looks freaking cool. Oh, wait, hold on. They have a time attack mode for speedrunners in mind. That makes me feel like they probably intentionally loaded this with some like pretty interesting level layouts and pretty interesting tech. Probably there's probably some cool things you can pull off in this game. What great. This screams I want to be a mascot forever now. Like, I want to be put in the Hall of Fame. She looks great. Looks a cool game for sure. Like, definitely, I put it on my list for sure. Looks fun. There's, not many 3D platformers or 3D like collectathon. Well, that one's not a collectathon. That's more of like a Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64 kind of game. Not a lot of those, either. I can't believe the amount of soul that has been poured into this game. The amount of like life energy that was put into this game. Like, what a return to form. Not really a return to form. Just, I don't know. It takes like, they've taken like the kind of whimsy that you feel from playing the other 2D, like the old 2D Mario games for the first time. Like me playing Mario 3 for the first time and finding the frog suit and being like, what is this nonsense? What are we doing now? Or teleporting to random new worlds out of order and things like that. The kind of whimsy of like discovering that stuff for the first time. That's what this feels like. I just realized that's Baby Bowser, except emo, and like going nuts. What is happening? I did see that Bowser's like big ship was like spreading pollution everywhere. It's weird that it's just Bowser again as a bad guy. Although maybe that's not going to be the case, because this is some weird, funky magic. Yeah, what a whimsical game. I think that's just the word. I mean, wonder is a good word too. Wait a minute. I just realized something. Who is this guy? Oh my gosh, who is this little guy? What a good boy. So many good boys all across this direct. But who is this little guy? Is he a king? Is he the king of this kingdom? I didn't know. Well, nobody's pointing him out. Who is this little fella? What a good boy. Wow.